So in this video, we're going to be covering where do you start working? So a couple of things, depending on your state. Some states will allow you to work from home. Other states will not allow you to work from home. So if in fact your state does allow you to do paramedical tattooing at home, these are going to be the pros and cons. Obviously, the pro is that you get to work from home, right? So it's really comfortable. You don't have to drive in traffic, parking. You don't have a huge lease space that you have to pay. It's in the comfort of your own home, which is amazing. I think about my lash girl, and she works from home, and I'm always think like, gosh, like it'd be so nice to just wake up and then go downstairs and work for the day, and then if I'm hungry at lunch, literally go in my kitchen, eat something, and then go back to work. So those are the pros. The cons though of working from home is that, you know, at least for her, she has a separate casita. So her casita is set up like a studio, but if you were having someone walk in your home to a room, again, this is for people who are allowed to work in their home, and you're gonna have to look up your state, probably the state health department, to see if that's even allowed and legal. Now, if it is legal and you are having people come to your house, so the con is, you know, first impressions do matter a lot, and people are going to be judging no matter what. And so I would think that some of the stress would be always having your house really clean, having it, you know, quiet or productive, so that way they can be treated to a session without your kids or your dogs or your pets, you know, intruding. You know, so there's going to be some of that privacy for your client, but also privacy for you as a homeowner who is inviting people to your house. Some people don't want people to know their address. You know, there's boundaries, and so the con would be the boundaries get a little gray when you're actually bringing people to your home, your sanctuary, to work. And then I would also think one of the other cons is being able to separate your work from your personal life as well. Is, you know, if you are bringing a ton of clients to your house, you know, can you really shut it down when it's time to spend quality time with your family and those things such as that? And so I would say those are probably the major pros and cons of working from home. So that's an option. The other option is you can look into a studio suite. And so that's where I started in Arizona. So the pro is that studio suites are often really nice places, where your clients are gonna feel like this is a luxury place to walk into, that this establishes a professional image and essence of your brand. It also allows you to work with other beauty business owners and be able to network and really get to have fun with other solo entrepreneurs, beauty bosses who are also renting in the same building. And so that is really great too when it comes to generating leads, establishing connections and referrals, and being around just other inspiring beauty business owners. The con though is that studio suites can be pretty expensive. It really depends on your city, it depends on the area. You know, you can get like a 10 by 10 space roughly for like around, I don't know, $1,000, and it can go all the way upwards to there depending on how much square footage you have, if you have a window, all of those things. And so that's where it can get a little hairy scary, as I say, for a new artist, because you most likely have just invested in your training, your equipment, and so to think about committing to a year lease, if not a 2-year lease, is what usually most studio suites are going to require from you, can be a little nerve-wracking, and I totally get that. And so that would be the biggest con, is that expense and then that commitment, because I'm sure you're going to be a bit scared to commit to something when you're still building up your clientele. So how do you counteract that? And by the way, I also want to point out that a pro for a studio suite is usually they do already, depends on which brands, but a lot of studio suites will sometimes come with like equipment already, like cabinets, a sink, those things, which also again makes it really nice. They usually have a waiting area, like things like that, because they're in the niche of beauty businesses, and so oftentimes those are like those really nice things too. Okay, so what if you're really scared and this is like the only route you can kind of take? So a couple of options is if you have a beauty business bestie, someone that you can sublease with is one option. So you can, you know, if you have any friends, or there's always like Facebook listings, Craigslist ads of people who rent their room either on a daily basis and or like literally part-time, as in you guys go 50-50 on it. So that could be one way to lower the risk and the investment for you, make it more affordable. The con though is that you are sharing a space that isn't necessarily yours. And so if you are just kind of dropping them for the day, maybe one day a week or something, you have to kind of lug all your equipment, hoping that like you didn't forget any of your inks or your needles for your client. It never really feels like home for you. So that could also affect how comfortable you feel working in that room. And or just sharing the space one. So even if you go 50-50 with someone, it's like, are you guys as clean? You know, or like if you're a clean freak, are they a clean freak? Is that reciprocal? Is that balanced or the same? Or your scheduling, you know, communication. Hey, like, do they remember that the day is this, or that they said that you could have this day? And so those are some things that, again, it's another risk. It's just another kind of risk. Like there's risk in everything that we do. It's just another kind of risk. And so those are the things that you'd have to think about. And then the other option is to work for a company, like work for a established studio, or a shop, or a dermatologist's office, or with a med spa or a surgeon, and you're working for them. So the benefit is they introduce you to their book of clients. They can help establish, because you're kind of like under their umbrella, so they already have a brand, they already have marketing, and they already have a strategy and an established business. So they can kind of like feed clients to you. Now, the drawback is, depending on that percentage, that commission split can be very high, because they're providing the space, they're providing the brand, the reputation, the experience, the clients, right? And all the other things that go into creating a really great elevated customer service experience. And so, you know, if it's the front desk, the waiting room, and so that commission split, I would assume, would be really, really high, obviously in their favor. And so again, there's no right way or wrong way. There's no one path to guarantee that you're going to be 100% successful in paramedical tattooing, because it's just impossible. There's so many different pathways that you can build your business. And again, even if you decide to work one way, doesn't mean that you're committed to that partnership for the rest of your life. You can change, you can evolve. That is the beauty of being your own boss and your own, you know, having your own business. And so those are just some things to consider as to how to actually start and find a place to work.